Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Bear here. So today I want to show you how to set up a template in order to create your very own brochure for your PBL project or for any other project that you want to create a brochure for. So the first thing we need to do is actually create the document. Now, right now you'll see I'm in my Google Drive. If you do not already have a folder for English, I want you to go ahead and create that right now so that way you can save this brochure into that folder. To do that, just click up here where it says new, then click folder, then click English, and depending on if this is English 1 or English 2, make sure to actually label it. And then you can put all of your documents that I ever give you online into that folder, and you'll never lose them. So if I ever need you to share something with me, you'll know where it's at. So go ahead and do that. All right, next thing you're going to do is create a brand new slide. So in that same spot, new, come down to slides, click blank presentation, blank presentation because we're not doing from a template because you're creating your own. Great. So once this actually gets all brought up and is done, creating, which takes a minute, then I'm going to have you do several things to make sure that it is set up properly before we start designing. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this because we don't need the themes right now. I'm going to give it a title, and for this, I want you to give it your last name so I can find it easily, and then you're going to put in PBL brochure. You could also put in the title of your class. So like English 1, PBL brochure. English 2, PBL brochure. That makes it easier for you to locate things. All right, great. Once you have that done, I need you to come over here to share because you need to make sure that everyone who views this can view it. So click share. Did you notice it says private only me? Because that means it's restricted. So we need to fix that right now. We need to change that to either anyone with Denver Public Schools or anyone with the link. I prefer anyone with the link because I know sometimes when you all go home, you use other computers than your Chromebook, and so, or your MyTech, and you might be using a different email to access your things. So anyone with the link, I think, is the best. There's one more step. You need to share it with me, with your teacher. So once you have done that, come up to the space where it says share with people in groups, and you're going to go ahead and share it with me. See right there? There is my information. So just copy it, right? And you're just going to come in here until you find me. Uh, so that's how you spell my name, right? So you'll come down here and you'll select dpsk12.net, and there I am. And then you're going to send it to me so I will have access to it for grading. Great. Next thing is to make sure that this is set up in the proper format. Right now, it's set up in presentation mode, and we need to set it up for actual printing mode because brochures get printed and mailed. And so we want to keep that in mind. So come up to File. So again, File, come down to Page Setup. Right now it's widescreen, that's presentation. We're going to create custom. Traditional paper, letter size paper is 8.5 by 11, but we want to keep this in landscape, not portrait. So right here, instead of 10, please type 11. I hope you're doing this at the same time as listening to this video or watching. And then this, instead of 5.63, this should be 8.5. Whoops, not 8.8, 8.5, keeping it inches, then click apply. And now we have it in the correct size for printing and being able to fold it into that traditional trifold way that brochures are normally sent as. Great. So now we're ready to start creating the template. Now, first things first, you don't need this title or subtitle. So let's come up here to where it says layout. Click that and just give ourselves a blank slide. You could also just delete them, but I kind of think it's easier and quicker just to go up to the layout and click that. So now we need to set up what are called panels for our document. And we need 3 panels on each of the pages. And you're only going to have 2 pages because the point of a brochure is to have information in a easy to read and small amount. So that way your reader doesn't get overwhelmed with tons of nonsense on the page. So come up to the shapes. So what I mean by that is if you come up to your toolbar, you're going to see this circle and square, and that is the shape selector. So click on it, come to shapes. Then you have one of 2 options for this. You can either select the rectangle or you can select the rounded rectangle, which I prefer the look of the rounded rectangle. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to create a little rectangle. You don't want it to be too big and you don't want it to be too small, but really set up this first one exactly how you want it, leaving a little bit of space around the edge for folding and printing purposes. That looks to be a pretty good size, but I want to verify that it's the right size because between the 3 panels, you should have a little bit of space. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, then I'm going to paste it twice. Okay. And then I'm going to place them where I want. One on the edge over here. And when you see that red line, that tells you that you have it set up in a really good format, that they're equally spaced along that horizontal line. So right now, this is what it looks like. That's pretty good. And that's a pretty good amount of space between them, thinking about having to fold. But I actually think I want to make that space just a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to delete these for just one moment and make this one just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to copy and paste it again. Again, copy is Control C, paste is Control V. Fantastic. So yeah, I like that spacing a little bit better, but you'll notice right now that my 3 boxes are not equally aligned. They're not distributed evenly. These are both a little bit lower than this one, and I want them to be the same. So to do that, I'm going to hit Shift and then select each one. And look, it's selecting all of them as I do that. Then I'm going to right click, and then where it says distribute, I am going to distribute them horizontally to make sure that they are evenly spaced on the page, which they are. I did that really well. But if they weren't, let me show you what would happen if they weren't. Say this one I had over here, like that. So that wouldn't be a good place for it. So to distribute it evenly across the page, I want to do Shift, and select each one, right click, distribute horizontally, and now they are distributed evenly. But you'll notice that they are not aligned vertically. And so we want to make sure that we get them aligned vertically. So I want to click on this first one, Shift, right click, and then for this, I want to put them on the middle of the page to make sure that they're not too high and not too low. So I'll go align vertically, middle. And so now they are evenly spaced. They are centered on my page. And so now I'm good to start kind of designing. But I need to make sure I have two pages because you have an outside part of the brochure and an inside part of the brochure. So let's go ahead and duplicate this slide. So over here, we're going to go Control, right click, not Control, sorry, right click, and you're going to duplicate the slide. So now I have 6 panels that I am working with, which is the perfect amount for a brochure. Now, here's something you have to remember when it comes to creating brochures. If I put all of my information in left to right on both of these, when I go to print this information, they will not print correctly. I will have the front page in the wrong order and the back page in the wrong order for actually printing and folding upon itself. So when I look at this first one, I want to know that this right here is actually your front page. This one is. So I'm going to type that in right now to make it really, really clear. So I'm going to make this a super big font just so that way you guys can see this before I start showing you any design element. This one right here is going to end up being your back. That is going to be the back of the brochure. I want to make these the same size. Okay. This one, when this gets folded, this is going to be one of the first two things that you see. So you have your front here, and then this is going to be, you open up that front page, and this one will be right inside. So just keep that in mind. These will be those things that you see inside. So let's make this a 28 so I can put, this is page 2. Page 2. This one is going to be page 4. I know you're probably all confused right now, and that's okay. This one is going to be page 5. But it's all in the way that you read them. And so that makes this one page 3. So think about a book. It really is about the way a book would read. So you open it up and you have on that first page, that's page 2. The opposite one is page 3. Then you open up page 3's flap and you have page 4 and page 5. All right, so here we go. This is how you set up a PBL brochure or a brochure in general. I'm going to create another video that's about actually the design part of this, but you're free to play around and do what you need to do to create your brochure. I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you all and see you all very soon.